You would say that.
Unless a woman comes to him and says, "You're responsible for my safety. Please make sure keep me safe." Like
I see.
woman
Now that,
comes to
Andrew
me.
Tate, I can sign up to.
Well, then we agree.
Yeah, but I don't agree with what you said before.
Because you're taking a soundbite from a 2-hour.
Yeah,
here's the thing, though, is no woman is gonna go up and tell you these things. You know what I'm saying? No woman is truly gonna do that. Like, you've never gone up to me and you were like, "Babe, I give you full responsibility to tell." No, it's not gonna happen. All right, that's silly to presume that.
I believe that a man has a duty to protect and provide for a woman. I believe that a woman's father gives her away to the man. That's what I believe, and that's in my marriage. That's the circumstance I'm going to live under. If people want to live in a different scenario, that's completely theirs. Their prerogative.
You went on to say about authority over women. If I have a responsibility over her, I must have a degree of authority.
Yeah.
For the same reason, if I have responsibility over and people are going to use their mind, it's an example, an analogy. Responsibility over a child, I have to have some authority.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. They're literally going over all the things we just went over. And you see how we naturally get there? We naturally get to that conclusion because we're smart, we're analyzing, we critically think about it. And we've had this conversation over and over again to the point where we just kind of go back and forth and we know the contentions and the part we disagree and the parts we agree on, you know? Let me see. Francisco Pereira, can you up the volume a bit, man? Your mic is fine, but the video volume is a bit low. All right, I'll up it up. Yeah, I said the same thing. He's like, let him talk. Mr. Applebean. Piers later mentions that he has the right to interrupt when he disagrees with a point. Actually insane. Yeah, that's just disrespectful towards your guest, man. That's just disrespectful towards your guest. All right, I'm gonna up the volume.
I believe as part of your ownership or your property of the woman, you have authority over her.
No, I believe if you have...
That's what you said.
I believe if you have responsibility over something, you have to have a degree of authority or you can't be responsible.
Yeah, but authority means, again, that you're the boss.
The point I'm making, if you'll please let me finish at this point. The point I was trying to make was talking about the safety of a woman. She was walking alone at night, and I was saying, well, I wouldn't let my woman walk alone at night. And they said, well, you're not in charge of her. You don't get to decide what she does. I said, I understand, but if I'm responsible for her safety, and I'm the person who's burdened with making sure she is safe, I have to have the authority to say, don't put yourself in unsafe situations. The two things are linked.
Well, you don't have authority. You can absolutely have the right to say to the woman you're with, I don't think you should, but ultimately...
If she decides, then I can't force her.
Right, so authority implies that you have the ability to control someone.
No, authority implies that I have the moral right to sit and say that that's an irresponsible thing to do and I'm responsible for
That's not what authority...
All right, so they're just picking over the words. What do you think? Do you think a guy should be able to say I have the authority, or do you think that's also like property?
No, authority and property for me
are completely different.
Completely different. Not completely. It has its similarities, but it's different to me. Like when you say authority, it doesn't make me feel disrespected because when like I do have authority to my father. So eventually when we get married and we have kids, you're gonna be a head of a family.
You mean your father has authority over you?
Over me, yes.
Okay.
In Russia, we just say it differently. It just means that I respect my father.
Exactly. But we can agree that authority means power. And with great power comes responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so then when I tell you to do something, right, you feel like it's controlling, but since you trust me, you do it anyways, right?
It's like yesterday when we were walking the dogs and you were like, oh, I think these two guys are on us or whatever. And you were like, okay, we're leaving right now. Grab the dog. Like, I listened to you because, well, you are in charge of keeping us protected and safe. Of course, yes, I'm grabbing the dog and I'm walking with you. I'm not going to stay there and be like, oh, no, I still want to be in the park. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So when we define the term authority, the authority means the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience, right? So in that moment, in those moments, I've had authority over you, complete authority over you, essentially complete control over you, because you would listen to me. And you listen to me because you respect me. You know that I know better than you do, and I know how to handle these situations, right? So authority is like property. Is like, you could say is like, they're similar in some ways. Right. And you know, and then here it says number 2, a person or organization having power or control in a particular, typically political or administrative sphere. It's a little more political or whatever. But yeah, so like with great power, great authority comes responsibility. And if a woman trusts you and feels strongly for you, she's going to listen in certain scenarios. As men, we have to understand that we cannot abuse this power. All right. I tell you, hey, bitch, go get some water right now. That's abusing my authority. You get what I'm saying? You're going to be like, the fuck you talking to like that, right? So we understand when we should have our authority and when we should not take advantage of it. That's why we're responsible for it. We have, as men, we have to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna. If you think I'm gonna lock somebody up in their room, is that what you're implying?
No, I don't think you know what authority means.
I know what it means. I'm saying that if
We just said a different description of what authority
if
means.
I have responsibility for her safety, then I have to have the authority to tell her not to do unsafe
Yeah,
things.
but authority means that you have some form of control over this woman.
I think you're trying to. What you're trying to
I'm
do.
only trying to get to what you think. Honestly, I am. I come with no agenda here at all.
I understand. And I'm explaining very, very clearly. If I have responsibility over said subject, I have to have authority over it. So let me say you have children, right?
Right.
You have responsibility for them.
No, I have legal authority over my children. That is very different to having legal authority over my wife or my female partner.
Completely. But the point I'm trying to make,
So you accept that?
I accept that
Because you used the analogy of responsibility for a child.
my friend, these are very
These are actually really
like
important
this.
things.
they're
actually.
important things, but you interrupt me every 5 seconds, so it's hard for me to act.
Yo, sorry. G Genji, shout out to my editor. Yo, is this good? Is this what you're talking about? Is this the way I should keep it?
To explain my point. The point I'm making here is very simple. You have children and you're responsible for their safety, so you're going to have authority to say don't go out at night perhaps because you want them to be safe.
I have legal authority.
You have a legal authority.
Yeah.
Legal authority. I'm saying that if I had a woman, and the question where you've raised this soundbite from, I was asked about protecting a woman, making sure she's safe. And I would say I wouldn't want her to go out at night on her own because I'm responsible for her safety. And someone said, well, you don't have authority over her to do that. And I said, well, no, I can't force her to stay inside. But if she were to ask me, how do I protect myself at night? I would say, well, you should stay inside. That's how you should do it.
I don't have an issue with what
So
you
we
just said.
agree.
Yo, it's so funny. We just had this conversation. Yo, you see? It's like, yo, when you're a man who truly knows what he's doing, who truly understands, who truly listens, who critically thinks, you will put these scenarios in your head because you understand when to take control, when not to take control. At the end of the day, when you're a younger guy, when you're in your 18s and your 19s, and you haven't put these things into play and you haven't experienced life, you have to make these mistakes. Sometimes, yes, you're gonna control women, and you have to learn quickly, hey, you cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't abuse your power.
No, because
It's the semantics.
That's
right?
the
not
main
semantic.
point of their conversation. Is that's where the true danger lies. You know what I'm saying? The guys who don't understand.
I don't think you quite get why there's a furore over what you say, with respect. Because the semantics point would be we're saying the same thing in different ways, but we're not. I'm saying to you that when you say I have to have some authority over a woman, I say to you, you have no right to any authority over a woman. You do over a child if it's your child, because you are the legal appointed guardian of that child.
Understood.
You're not a legally appointed guardian or authority over your wife or female partner.
Legally appointed, absolutely not. I agree. However, when it comes to things like personal responsibility or personal safety, men, largely by society, are accepted. We're the protectors and providers. We can sit here and pretend that in the world we live in, if me and my wife were walking down the street and men were to come up and try and attack us, I wouldn't be the one fighting. But we both know in reality I would.
Right.
I have a degree of responsibility to protect her. So if I have a degree of responsibility to protect her physically, then the point I'm trying to make is I will do my best to make sure she's never putting herself in unsafe situations.
Do you wish you hadn't used the word authority?
The authority is something that she would give to me. She would come to me and say, how can I make sure I'm as safe as possible?
But I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to point out that's not what authority means.
If someone gives, a person can give
Voluntary
somebody else
authority is not authority.
No, but that's the point. If
It's
a
not.
woman, Piers,
Andrew, it's not.
Piers, if a woman comes to me and says, I want you to keep me safe, she is handing me authority for her safety.
But do you understand the difference between having authority over somebody and somebody giving you permission to have authority?
Completely. I never said
One is consensual and one isn't.
But why are we pretending I do unconsensual things? when I
Because
have
you
no criminal
literally
record?
say,
All right. So what Piers Morgan is trying to make right now is the debate and the argument is that authority is something that isn't given. It's something that's just taken. That is bogus. That is not true. The power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. All right. It doesn't say anything about, oh, you're given authority or, oh, you've earned authority. No, it's just the right. That's it. So in today's society, a woman has to do what? We know very well. A woman has to give you the right to give you the authority over her, right? Because you're a human being. You make conscious choice. A dog cannot give me the conscious choice of, oh, hey, you have authority over me. You have the right of control. I claim that dog as my dog. I feed the dog. I give the dog water. I shelter the dog, and the dog is mine. I have authority over that dog, right? There is no... Piers Morgan is trying to make the debate of, you have to give or you have to earn it, or, you know what I'm saying, you have to get permission. Yes, of course, we understand you have to get permission, but the definition of authority doesn't state any of those things.
That's true.
Okay? So that's where he's just wrong, in my opinion. Either way, it's important to state, I guess, for
must
some
have
people.
a degree of authority. I have to have some authority. And the point about
Only if I'm responsible for her safety. If I'm not responsible for her safety, I don't have authority.
If your position now is that with her permission, I would like to have authority when we go out at night to protect her, that's a different
That was
thing.
always my position.
But that's not what you said.
But that was always my position here.
So again, I simply say to you,
It is what I said, though.
Do you wish you'd phrased it a different way?
No, because we're talking about long format copy where I'm talking about a woman who has come to me and said, you're responsible for making sure I'm safe. I said, well, then I have to make the decisions.
When an
which gives me
18-year-old
authority.
boy reads, I must have some authority over a woman, what do you think he thinks?
Well, I understand that, and I said this earlier when you tried to say I was backtracking, which I'm not doing.
No, actually, I'm not. I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm not trying to gotcha you.
Cool.
I'm trying to work out exactly what you actually
I understand
think.
with massive fame comes massive responsibility. I understand that a percentage of the population are always going to take everything that's said by anybody out of context.
Would you change the wording of what you said?
No, I would just encourage people to watch my long format copy and understand it
Would
fully.
you tell an 18-year-old boy you don't have authority over women?
Absolutely.
You would say that?
Unless a woman comes to him and says, you're responsible for my safety, please make sure, keep me safe. Like
I
my
see.
woman
Now
says,
that
comes to
Andrew
me.
Tate, I can sign up to.
Well, then we agree.
Yeah, but I don't agree with what you said before.
Because you're taking a soundbite from a 2-hour...
Yeah, but
Here's the thing, though, is no woman is going to go up and tell you these things. You know what I'm saying? No woman is truly going to do that. Like, you've never gone up to me and you were like, babe, I give you full responsibility to tell... No, it's not going to happen, all right? That's silly to presume that. We understand that we need this, but it's like we have to earn it from them, and we have to be discerning. We have to have a good sense of judgment.
I think being in a relationship, that's what it means. When you actually officially become a couple, right? Mm-hmm. This is when the girl agrees to give some authority to a guy over her. Because if we call each other boyfriend and girlfriend, that means you are responsible of protecting me and I'm responsible of keeping your stomach full and balls empty. That's it.
Yes, which I love to hear, honestly. But the thing is that even when we're dating, right? Even when we're dating, you know, a woman... What I always tell guys is you shouldn't have to ask her to be your girlfriend, right? You shouldn't ever have to think about, when should I ask her to be? No, fuck that. When you feel this is the good girl, when you've seen her life, when you've tested her, when you've seen her over and over and you see that she has good judgment, she's submissive, she compromised, she's been these things all her life, right? And she's worked towards these things all her life. Then I'm not going to ask her to be my girlfriend. I'm going to start introducing her to my friends. I'm going to start introducing her to my family. They're going to test her. I'm going to see how she does around them. She passes those tests. You're already my girl. You've already been introduced to my world. You fit well into my world. You fit well into my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? With that, see, by me already putting you in those positions, I don't even have to say a word. I'm already acting. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think it is important to communicate these things, right, with your partner so that you guys are in agreement. But in reality, most times it's really not communicated. It's just guys do and it's done.
Just a part of feelings still wants me to be asked.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I'm not saying that it somehow affects the relationship. It does not, but it's like a nice tradition.
It's just how you feel. It's how you feel. You want to feel. You want to feel good. You want to feel pretty. You know, because women are emotional. We get this. You know, we gotta have that
empathy.
Having me taken out of context, because I read you the entire sentence. It's very.
But you've ignored all the context around the sentence, my friend.
You can't ignore a sentence that says, I must have a degree of authority.
But you can when there's a 2-hour conversation where a woman is telling me if she makes me responsible for her safety and makes...
You see, and sorry, this is just where Piers Morgan is closed-minded. He's just like, I just can't agree. I just can't. So at that point, it's just like, you should really just agree to disagree. I think you guys got the best parts of it out anyways.
Playing, well, if I'm responsible for your safety, I have the authority to make decisions. So
Do
yes, you've ignored all the context.
Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Well, it's not really, is it?
I can't.
You know why I'm asking?
Wait, what was that question?
If
19-year-old women are more attractive. Respect.
All right, cool. Hold on. Let me stop here and let me start this again.